Wanda James, founder and CEO of Simply Pure in Denver. Welcome on the Business Brief.
Thank you so much for having me today. This is very exciting.
Wanda, you and your husband, Scott, became the first African Americans legally licensed in America to own a dispensary, a cultivation facility, an edible company. High Times magazine named you one of 100 most influential people in cannabis. Where do you get your inspiration from? And what motivates you to keep at it as an African American woman entrepreneur in an otherwise male-dominated business?
Well, those words right there is what keeps us motivated to keep going. This is a white male-dominated industry. And, when you think about even here in Colorado being the first state to legalize, well, us in Washington did it the same night, but Colorado boomed and it moved forward. As a matter of fact, we sold over $2 billion of cannabis last year, not us personally, but the state, $2 billion worth of cannabis last year. And what we have seen, there are only 3, maybe 4, the state doesn't have all the information right now, of dispensary owners, and less than 30 people are actually licensed that happen to be Black in Colorado out of over 1,674 owners in the state of Colorado. So across the nation, less than 1% tend to be African American. So when we saw so many people being arrested for cannabis that were Black, here in Denver, for example, 34% of the arrest of Black people of simple possession for cannabis happen to be Black folks, but yet we have so few people involved in the business side. So Scott and I wanted to make sure that we put a Black face on what the cannabis business in Colorado can look like. And we started doing that over 11 years ago. And, today, like I says, we're up to about maybe 30 people in the industry in Colorado.
Wanda, you touched on it, $2 billion in cannabis sales just last year, over $10 billion worth of legal weed sold since 2014, up, by the way, 2020, up, by the way, from 1.75 billion in 2019. How's business for you, and where is the industry headed?
So business for us was pretty amazing last year. Business for us has been well from the very beginning. One, we've got, celebrity status in the industry. So when people come to Colorado, cannabis tourism is a great big piece of what happens here. And, Governor Jared Polis had appointed me to the Colorado Tourism Board. So we have seen since 2014 record numbers of tourism coming to Colorado and especially Denver. And we in the cannabis space have been telling the state of Colorado that people are coming because of legal cannabis. Legal cannabis is something that Americans want. We've seen it approved at the rate now of 68%. And as you know, 68% of Americans can't agree on anything except for that they want cannabis legal is where we're at right now. For us personally, we saw sales increase well over 50% last year. We saw our last 4 months, 88% over what they were prior years. What we found in our dispensary personally is that people were looking to spend their money, people were looking to spend their money in Black and minority owned businesses, which they were looking for places that were Black owned to come. And we're proud to say that people came for the first time because we were Black owned. They continue to come back because we do such an amazing job in our dispensary with customer service, with products, and with knowledge.
Gotcha. Now I got to ask you, with new measures like delivery, is that helping or hurting the small cannabis dispensaries?
So let's be real. Denver has been one of the most difficult places for cannabis businesses to thrive. Unfortunately, we have an administration in Denver, city administration, that has been anti-cannabis for many years. The mayor's office has recently, had an epiphany that all that they believed was going to happen in Colorado because of cannabis from a negative standpoint didn't, and all of the positive things did. So delivery has not yet happened in Denver. And we had been fighting to have the licenses in Colorado and definitely here in Denver being the epicenter of being social equity licenses to be able to give those licenses to people who happen to be harmed by the drug war. So we're hoping to see what happens in Denver. I mean, some folks are nervous about it, both big businesses and small businesses. But I think that delivery is something that COVID and 2020 has made people very prone to use. I mean, we've had our food delivered, we've had our clothes delivered, we have our dog food delivered. I mean, we have everything delivered to us now. So yeah, it would be foolish for anybody in the cannabis space not to plan on delivery being a big part of their
Great. I
business.
know Aurora just adopted their rules for delivery. I imagine Denver will be close
They
behind
did.
in this particular area. So, Wanda, here we are in Black History Month, but you're making history every day. I'm reminded of the adage that with great power comes great responsibility. Do you feel a sense of responsibility? If so, how so?
So, yeah, but this isn't new to my life. I'm not native to Colorado, but I have lived in Colorado off and on since I was 4 years old. My dad was military. He's been stationed at every Air Force base in Colorado, from Langley to Buckley to NORAD to Peak Field. So every 4 years of our life, or my family's life, we left Colorado, went to Europe, came back to Colorado. So I've literally been through elementary, junior high, high school, two high schools, college, proud to see you Buff, go Buffs, and then on to a military career here. So when I came back and started working in politics with Barack Obama, with Kamala Harris, with our governor Jared Polis, I ran his first campaign for Congress back in 2008. So yes, when you are the first and you are vocal, and to be the first to step out and sell cannabis, the phone calls that we got at the very beginning was, people saying, we've destroyed your career, you're done, nobody will ever want to talk to you again. And what we have found is we have been the most outward spoken voice in Colorado in ending mass incarceration, ending police brutality that has been so much tied to the use of cannabis. And so I'm really proud of what we've been able to make happen. And yeah, are there arrows, pointed at you every day? Absolutely, there are a lot of arrows pointed at you every day. But for me, those arrows just make us stronger. And what I have found is the more vocal you are about something, the more out front you are about something, the more passionate you are about something. In our case, it's been cannabis. The less of a casualty you tend to be, because people have seen what we have done and have seen the positive nature of how we have done it. So this has been an extremely productive 11 years for us, and we feel really powerful about it.
Yeah, my grandmother used to say, "Ain't none of us here to stay." So use your business and your time on this earth to make an impact. So I'm happy to hear that. Now, Wanda, lastly, I want to circle back on one thing you talked about earlier, because I think it's important to the future of the industry and to truly change in America. And that is, Wanda, you've been unapologetically critical of the industry that you work in that remains 97% white owned. How do you change it so more women and people of color can be owners too?
So right now, ironically, Simply Pure is going through a very large raise, because what we're hoping to be able to do is be able to give franchises out there, mostly to Black and brown people, because we want to be able to take our 11 years of understanding this industry and being able to give it to other people to be a part of this industry. But Ryan, the most important thing that Black and brown people and women can do is be present and be vocal and normalize the very idea that I am in this industry, the very idea that we have been fighting for this industry, and this is the face that you see talking about it. And even if we're not talking about it in terms of Black history, or Black people or in women. I mean, clearly, when you see me talking about my business or talking about cannabis, there is a Black woman speaking to you about these things. So, you know, being there is the most important thing that we can do, because as my dad used to always tell me, you know, you got to see to be. You know, you don't know what you can be if you've never seen it, heard it, experienced it before. So, you know, I'm proud that we normalize cannabis. I'm proud that we give permission to people over the age of 21 to go home tonight, and instead of having a martini with your partner, you have a joint or an edible with your partner. That's very normal and very healthy. And so we want to be able to give permission to folks to do that. And then through that, maybe we inspire the next business owner. Maybe we inspire the next great idea of how to cook with cannabis, or do something different. So we're so proud of what we do, and just being present is what makes all of the difference in the world for people to see to be.
Wanda James with Simply Pure. The cannabis business clearly is going to continue to grow year over year. And we're wishing you, Scott, and the Simply Pure team nothing but success and all the best in the years ahead. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We really appreciate it. And we're thrilled to be a part of Colorado and Black history.